Hello, this is Pete the Tech Guy, and this is the latest of our short commentaries. And I want to talk a little bit about Afghanistan and what's going on there right now, and the fall. Now, to a person like me whose father served in World War II, what's happening this week in Afghanistan is a bit of a reminder of the difference between the way people fought war in World War II and before in the United States, and the way people fought a war after this. And it seems to me that we've forgotten something very basic. When Sherman marched through the South, through Georgia and the Carolinas, he fought a war. He devastated the infrastructure of the enemy and crushed them. When Grant marched his army towards Virginia, he moved forward, fought, and crushed the enemies. When the United States moved in on Germany during World War II, the Germans were beaten and crushed. When Japan was being fought by us, we went island to island, crushed the opposition, and in the end used 2 atomic bombs and ended the war without having to invade and crush them even worse. But in every single one of these examples, the United States fought a total war. They went in, they fought, they found the enemy, and they destroyed them. And all these other things that come after destroying the enemy, from schools to culture and so forth, came after the enemy was completely crushed and utterly destroyed. Now, we don't seem to be thinking that way in Afghanistan. They haven't for the last 20 years. We've heard John Kerry and others talk about, oh, there's cell phone use, there's this, there's that, these schools, there's all of these rights. None of those things are going to be existing in a month. In a month, the Taliban will be back. In fact, it won't even take that long. They'll have control of the country possibly by the time I finish this video. But all those advancements for women, all those cell phones, all of those advances that the military is boasting of, these cultural advances, are no longer going to exist because the Taliban aren't going to allow them. And the reason why is, why should they? The reason why these things are all ephemeral is because we did not crush them. Now, people say Afghanistan is a place where armies go to die, and historically that's been the case. But again, if you're going to fight a war, and if you have the largest and most powerful military machine in the world, you fight the war. You go after the enemy and you pound and destroy them. And you keep pounding them and destroying them until they're destroyed. That's the only way to fight a war. That is, as Rush Limbaugh once said, armies exist to kill people and break things. Once you decide your army is a bunch of social workers, and more importantly, a bunch of woke social workers, then your army is nothing to fear. And that's why we are falling apart in Afghanistan right now. The fact that we're sending B-52s to bomb our own airfields to keep the Afghans from getting our planes seems amazing to me, that we did not have, if we're going to leave, we did not have pilots ready to fly these planes away. We didn't have fuel ready to fly these planes away. It's an amazing thing, but it's less amazing than you think, because you have to remember something, that the people who put the Biden administration in power, to them, a humiliating and dishonorable, and by dishonorable I mean the fact that we're going to leave a lot of people who helped us out to be slaughtered. A humiliating and dishonorable defeat for the United States for these people is a feature rather than a bug. And for the woke warriors who are busy purging Trump supporters and Christians and the like from their military ranks, those things are much more important than the idea of winning in Afghanistan. That's the real mission. It's a disgrace that that Afghanistan is falling and folding like a wet blanket. It's a disgrace that this hasn't been done the way it should be done. And it falls upon us to look, and as a country we should look at ourselves this way and look at why are we allowing a second Vietnam? Why is this going on, and who allows it, and who's allowing it? But for those of you who see this and are worried about the efficiency of our military and the willingness of our government to fight a war, have no fear. I guarantee you that our military And this administration is ready to fight a war to the death. But that happens to be a war against people who support Donald Trump, people who think that vaccine mandates are a bad idea, and people who want to audit the election that just passed to find out who actually put Joe Biden in power, other than the voters. So if those are your goals, then the military is exactly where it needs to be. But if you're more traditional minded and think that the military is there as a line of defense against foreign enemies and as a force to support the United States internationally and protect American citizens and interests, not so much. That we are at this state is a sad, it's a very sad thing that we're at this state. But if you are surprised by this, if you are surprised at an administration that did not get elected, does not care about the situation in the United States, then that's on you. Well, that's all the time I have right now. This is Pete the Tech Guy saying goodbye, and God bless you all.